Hey,
Hi,
Mother.
everybody.
Oh, hi,
Oh,
Deb.
sorry, my computer at home was doing some weird update. It was like, it's going to be another 35 minutes. And I was like, oh, snap, I got to get to a computer. Oh, gosh. So I just came over here to Chase Surveying to get on. Sorry, I'm a little late.
No, you're perfect. You're good.
Okay, I think we are live, right? Yes, we are live. Are the kids getting excited for Christmas?
Yeah. Well, we put up our tree a long time ago. And every day George wakes up, he's like, oh, Santa Claus didn't come today. It was my bad boy. I'm like, no, it's not even Christmas yet. So then I told them that Christmas was Wesley's birthday was on the 7th. So I was like, you got to wait until after your uncle's birthday. And then it'll be Christmas. So we celebrate Wesley's birthday. So the next day he wakes up and George is like, it's Christmas now, right? Oh,
No.
no, wait. My mother gets them advent calendars, so at least that kind of helps. You know, they get a piece of chocolate every morning and they can sort of count down.
Great. I got an Advent tea calendar this year from a friend of mine. So every day I open a different little window and there's new tea in it.
That's nice. That's good. I like that.
Wow, have you tried any that you were like, really like, I've never tried this tea before and it's delicious?
Yeah, there's been a few Asian ones, like, you know, Chinese green, interesting stuff that I've never heard of. And all of it's terrific.
Really there's so many different kinds of advent calendars now. Yeah, Rory, where's the cheese advent calendar? We're ready for
cheese.
Wow. That's a great idea.
Behind every door, a different cheese.
Yes. That's my kind of month.
Okay, let's see. It is 7 o'clock and Warren is here. Yay. How's Rhinebeck? I heard you got 2 feet of snow.
I haven't been out today. I had Zoom meetings almost all day.
Yeah.
So I never got out to my office, which I'm not even sure what's going on in town. It looks like about 13 inches, 14 inches, something like that. What did you get in Pine Plains?
We got about 15.
Yeah.
But I was watching the news tonight and it said it put Rhinebeck on the news.
Why? Because we got more than anybody.
22 inches, what they said.
It's funny. It depends on where you are in relationship to the Hudson River. Sometimes there are times that we get a foot of snow, and then across the river in Ulster County they get 2 feet of snow.
Right.
So it could have been one of those storms. So maybe we got more snow because we're closer to the Hudson River. I don't know. But I'm not looking forward to going into town tomorrow, into the village tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should start because Matt is not coming tonight. So he's the sole caregiver to the kids. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. Let's have the approval of the minutes and the town clerk report.
On the minutes, on the last page of the minutes, where it says Jones suggested authorizing, it shouldn't say authorizing, it should be something else. Suggested urging the completion of the town center.
Okay.
Can't make that change because we don't authorize it. And with that change, I would move that we accept the minutes from November 19th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You get that, Madeline? I think we lost Madeline.
Madeline just hopped out, but hopefully she'll come back. She looked like she was having computer issues.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Yeah. but it's recording and it will be shown on,
Well, okay.
but we need her.
So I think we should wait a minute until she can come. She has to come do bills anyway, right?
Yeah. If, she said she was at the office, so let's hope she can pop back in.
You want to do the supervisor statement?
Supervisor statement, yeah.
Sure. Should we make sure we pass a monthly report as well?
Oh, yes, and,
Yeah.
and I also move that we pass the monthly, the town clerk's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. All right, supervisor statement. This past month, a lot of things came into place. We received the first draft of the sewer feasibility study. The town board is reading it now, and the next step is to meet with the engineers, hopefully during our January workshop meeting, discuss the draft, make any changes we'd like to see, then set a date for a public discussion. Organization and reform plan is done at the county level. Pine Plains took an active part in its compilation and direction, and we got the final draft just this week. We will be using this to guide us in our efforts to look at police policy in the town, which has not been updated since 1984. John Hughes and I are learning to work the software on our Lexipol police policy, I don't know what you want to call it, software. And we're going to be wrestling with over 750 pages of policy with the guidance of our stakeholders committee, which got a great start last week, continued great work this week in reviewing the plan. Again, I want to thank these incredible people, Brenda Jackson, Lisa Machete, Nelson Zayas, Sarah Jones, and Kiri Hannon. The Broadband Committee made its first report to the town board at the workshop meeting last Monday, and it is on YouTube for anyone to look at. This is a very intense recap of all the work they've been doing. More extraordinary people to be thanked: Paul Markham, Steve Neal, Matt Finley, James Petrie, Michael Stabile, Jesse Bruckman, Matt Breimer, John Farrell, and Dr. Martin Handler. Today we met at 11 o'clock and we got some breaking news from Dr. Handler, which is that Pine Plains has been selected as one of 6 trial small rural towns to take part in a study with funding at the end of it by a foundation called the Education Superhighway. And what the education, it's a not-for-profit. If you look at the, you can Google it. It's educationsuperhighway.org. And it will study all of the towns in our district. He's got 9 towns in his school district for who does not have internet and where the gaps are, with the idea that they will fund the infrastructure build out. So that was just today that Dr. Handler got this news. And the school needs to supply a list of student street addresses with no names to this Education Superhighway group, which is being hosted by the governor. So this actually came through the governor's office. There's no state money involved. This is all a foundation. And one of the things Dr. Handler said during this was that the hotspots that he's been able to get for every student have been not robust, to say the least. They're through T-Mobile and Verizon. They're as good as we can do at the moment, but if we can get real broadband to all these families, it would be an incredible thing. Okay, Rory got. So that was just an aside there. The 2021 budget is in and confirmed by the county. Last week, I attended the Land Use Law Conference at Pace University via the internet on institutional racism and land use law. I have been going to this conference since I got into office, and Sarah's come with me, and it's invaluable education in the history of the law as regards development in towns. Frankly, this reflects on all kinds of people from all walks of life. And it's fair, I think, appalling what the use of laws to keep certain people out of places has done to perpetuate poverty and family dysfunction. Equity in a house is one of the best and only ways for people to rise out of poverty and to live in neighborhoods where the schools are good and encourage children to learn and strive for something better. It was, again, another one of those really great conferences. Our COVID numbers are up again in Pine Plains. We hung on for a long time at below 5, but they've caught up with us. As of today, we're at 6. Milan is at 7 and Stanfordville is at 16. Wearing a mask is a small thing to do that has a huge effect. I know I say this every month. You would not want to give this virus to someone you love and have to watch them suffer just because you felt silly wearing a mask. The virus doesn't have any politics. Finally, the reorg will take place on January 7th at 7 o'clock. So mark your calendars. Okay, we still don't have our town clerk. So I
hopped off there because Madeline called me. Apparently her computer shut down at Lyndon's office. She's heading to her house and I'm sure she'll be back on shortly here.
Okay, well, we're back at, let's see if this works. All right. Can you hear us?
Yes, sorry about that. Yes, I tried to call Judy and she said that her computer was froze also. This computer just shut down, started doing updates.
Oh, no. Oh, here comes Ray. All right.
Sorry.
Okay, so we just got through the supervisor statement, Madeline, and we approved both the minutes and the town clerk report.
Okay.
So we are going to go back to approval of the bills.
Okay, so it would be approval of the general bills number 18075 through 18090. The highway bills number 18091 through 18111, and water bill number 2998.
I would move that we accept those bills.
Second.
We agree to pay those bills.
We have a second from Rory. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Did anybody receive any public comment this week? All right. I did not either. On to our town attorney. So some of the business of the evening has to do with a request the broadband committee made to us on Monday night for kind of like pre-approval to entertain an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement for Consolidated to send us a real NDA, which Warren would have to read and approve before we signed it, so that they will give us the maps of their broadband service coverage. They want this in these steps. The other thing they would like to have is approval, a motion to ask for estimates of what it would cost to build all the fiber optic out to places that don't have it. And that is also Consolidated. So these are basically just, motions to be willing to look at these things. If we don't officially ask for the estimate, they don't want to go through the hard work, I guess, of creating it. They want to know we're interested.
But there's no financial
Yeah,
lookout for us at all. So
No
I
commitment
think
on this
that I'm in favor of going forward on those items.
yeah, I'm fine with that too. I'd have to, when they send us the material, I'll take a look at it. And I'm assuming it's just a standard NDA that we have to sign, but no reason why we can't tell them to move forward with this.
Okay. Could I have a motion to be willing to entertain an NDA and, well, I'll make the motion. I move that we be willing to entertain an NDA from Consolidated and and to ask for build out estimates on broadband from Consolidated.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Warren, I was just wondering, do we have a status on the solar law yet?
Yeah, I am working on that. I told you I dropped the ball on that a while back, so I'm restarting that.
Right.
And I'm hoping maybe by the next meeting, I'll have a draft for us to look at.
Oh, that'd be tremendous.
Yeah.
Okay. The only other thing was we were going to talk about just adding to our own sexual harassment policy, the fact that we have to do it every year as mandated by the state. We have to train. We don't have to sexually harass anybody. We have to train people in sexual harassment as per the state and the mandate.
Yes, we do have to update our employee manual to provide that. So I'll get you the language for that.
Okay. It's just got, I think we have a good policy. It was written a while ago, but it's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, it was before that requirement, so it just has to be updated with that requirement.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
And the only other thing, I guess, just to let you know, the low tax certiorari case has been withdrawn. I filed a motion to dismiss, and I asked for sanctions, and they withdrew the petition and their motion.
Well done. Well done.
A victory for Pine Plains.
Thank you, sir. Anything else, Warren?
That's the only thing I have, but, I am working on, I know that Dale Mitchell wants a response to his, so I have, based upon all the documentation and information I've received, I have drafted a response for you to review, so we can respond to Dale. I sent a copy to Ray, so if you could take a look at it and let me know if you need anything changed or clarification, and if not, it's good to go.
Ray? Any thoughts?
And I can actually, I didn't think about it. I could send it to the full board as long as we're not. I'll send it out to the full board so the entire board has it too. So if anybody sees any errors or something we have to amend before we send it out to Dale. But I think it should come under your letterhead. So.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
And I did take a look at it, and it does address the concerns that we've had, and I think it provides an adequate response to Dale. So that's fine. I was fine with what Warren had put together.
Great. I know that he did do some repair to the paved part of Pilch Drive.
Right.
On his own. So I was curious about that, but we'll get that out to him. All right, great.
It's still not in good shape at all.
No.
No, he just made some repairs to the potholes that were right by the entrance, but I agree they are just repairs, and likelihood they won't last beyond this season, quite honestly.
I think we did at one time, if I recall, or it was in the documents that I was reviewing, utilized our property maintenance code to require him to upgrade. We might want to consider our zoning enforcement officer taking a look at that and see if we should serve another violation if it gets to that point.
Okay. All right, let's go on. Heather is not here. She's still dealing with the storm. She did send a report with some requests. She says, we took delivery of the new F-250 utility truck on November 23rd. She's verified that the last of our CHIPS submissions is scheduled for reimbursement this month. Our tandem has returned with its new stainless body and material spreader. She would like our approval and acceptance of the snow and ice policy she put together and gave to all of us. And the other issues, I believe you all have the water treatment system repair bill. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, it is. I have it here. The complete cost is $7,130. And it will be the installation of a 1.5 CF sanitizer softener to remove the iron, a 2.5 CF aeration carbon filter for sulfur and residual taste and odor removal, and a 4x20 by 1 micron cartridge filter. I believe that, you know, this needs to happen because of the wear on the other systems of the iron and the difficulty of that. Certainly that's the case in my house.
Ray, do you have any input on this?
I have not seen the proposal that was submitted. By all means, I can. I do know that they have had water quality issues out at the site.
Yeah.
As it pertains to hardness, as it pertains to high iron in the past, but I just haven't seen the proposal as far as the proposed water treatment, but I'd be glad to do so if the board would like.
All right.
There was a similar system in place, and it was just basically abandoned and never maintained. So I'm not sure, you know, it was just allowed to run dry or whatever. So there is something over there now. I'm assuming that, I don't know if it has any value, if it can be just, you know, brought back to serviceability or not, but
I think this bid is saying no, it needs to be replaced.
Okay.
All right, I thought this had gone to all of you, so let's see.
I can, again, I can, if you forward it to me, then I could go out to the site tomorrow morning, take a quick look at it with Heather. And then that way I can get back to the town board. And then the town board could perhaps take action. Are you having a year-end meeting or?
Well, no, we'll have a
Reorganizational meeting?
yes, in January.
Okay. So then you could potentially take action on it at that point.
Okay.
Didn't we just purchase a new water heater for over there? Did I sign a bill for that? I think I recall signing a bill for the water heater.
I thought that was at the community center.
Was that the community center?
That's the community center. Yeah, that was the
Okay.
little,
Okay, all right.
we upgraded that. All right, so we'll, I'll make sure this gets to everybody and we can, and Ray, I'll make sure it gets to you tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, and I'll stop by and I'll see Heather. Hopefully she may not, hopefully she's in. I know she's obviously working late hours, so.
Yeah. Okay, great. So.
Can I make a comment about item 4 about the snow and ice policy?
Yes.
You know, I don't believe that's a town board function. I believe it's her own internal policy, and as long as it's not in conflict with any of the town's policies, I don't feel that we should be approving it. It basically deals with how she's going to address the issues.
Anybody else on that?
Am I frozen or?
Nope. You're not frozen.
I think I agree with you, Don.
My internet connection is unstable. I keep getting that error.
Yeah. No, we hear you, Don. Sarah, you think that,
I think I agree with Don that it's an internal matter. I don't
But I'm not
remember.
hearing Sarah.
I don't recall ever seeing it, doing anything about it previously or
I
seeing
don't
it
either, right?
previously.
Okay. Rory?
I don't quite understand what section 4 Don's referring to in the policy I've got here. I'm sorry, Don.
No, it's not it's section 4 of Heather's report that we're
Oh,
talking about.
It's just
Sorry,
about it. It's just a reference to it.
The snow and ice policy she put together.
She sent that. I had got a copy of that, I think.
Yeah.
I think that having a policy is a good idea. It's something you can communicate to the town if that's what we're chatting about here. But I think it's appropriate.
It's fine to have a policy, but I don't think we have to authorize it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, but maybe it's good to share it so that the community or we could magnify her message, or she could do it as well. But if she's trying to message to the people, I'm not sure if that's why she's sharing it or she's actually looking for us to.
Well, I think she wanted approval of it, but if we don't feel we need to, I can certainly put it on the website. It does have the overnight and winter parking, and that's a good thing for people to be able to reference. So if you don't think we need to approve it, I think it's a nice document.
I think we'd be fine on the website.
Great. Okay, I'll do that. The next issue, let's see, let me just put that on. The next issue is the brush pile and the leaves. She's feeling that the leaves are taking over, the chips are taking over, and the brush pile is truly as big as it has ever been. Mainly because we had a lot of windstorms this year and people are home working on their yards. So the question really is, that is a $6,000 bill. Do we take care of that now? And then we're going to have that bill again in the summer.
Is
Prefer to
she
wait.
not asking for a new policy? She's saying it's gotten out of hand as a policy, or is she just talking about the financial obligation of it?
Well, we need to either deal with it or let it sit there, but it's like a mountain of brush. The way it looks like it does at the end of the summer on a usual year.
You've also got the secondary issue. She's saying she's not going to be able to haul the mulch away anymore.
That's right.
We have a real issue. The stone pile was supposed to be gone by now. They've also moved in a pile of the recycled asphalt, and they've pushed the chips and the mulch together. So we've got to do some research and find out where we could dispose of this before we make any decisions. At least that's my opinion. I would gladly meet with Heather to find out what she's done and maybe explore a couple other options. I don't think it's something we have to do right now.
All right, great. What about the brush pile?
I think we should wait. We've got a couple months more of room there.
Okay.
You know, we may encroach on the lawn a little bit, but I think we have room.
Okay.
You know,
Anybody else?
to have him come up, you know, that's $6,000, especially if we have no place to put the mulch. Last year, we've had a place that we could haul it directly away from the chipper and just keep a very small amount of it. But
I know a lot of
you know,
people.
we've got to sit down and come up with a land utilization because we're getting an awful lot of sprawl there. And so, you know, it's a little disheartening.
Any other thoughts on that? Have,
The brush
Sarah-
pile seems to be more and more of a challenge for the highway department over there. And I can't tell if it's something that Heather ultimately thinks maybe just like the sand, et cetera, shouldn't be taking up highway department resources somehow, ultimately, but.
it's a nice service we give to the town.
Right, it's a tremendous service, and so
Yeah.
is the sand. I don't know what people would do with the brush, quite frankly. You know, we'd be forcing them to, you know, come up with alternate methods of disposal, and some of those are not very, you know, not very good or very expensive for them. I think this is really a worthwhile effort that we provide.
I
So
kind of,
let's see if we can find some alternate sites. All right.
the leaf pile is at the back, and I can't remember what's behind the leaf pile. But-
Woods.
Just
It's up
woods.
against the woods.
Okay.
The tires we do have to address.
Well, the tires are generally picked up whenever there's enough of them. Casings comes through and picks them up and then charges us.
Mhm.
And he waits. He doesn't want to come in and just for 4 tires. He wants to come in when there's a pile. Second of all, there shouldn't be any tires there. People should not be dumping tires there. However, they still are, or they have in the past anyway. But they shouldn't be dumping them. So, I
Are
mean,
there other sites we could consider for collecting our brush at and doing our grinding at and storing our mulch at that's not right at highway's door?
what can you think of?
I'm not sure. Dale Mitchell's got a bit of property there in town.
No.
I mean, you know, I don't think we want to use the land behind town hall.
We need the highways participation in that.
Yeah.
You know, the only alternative we had before was to have the person, one of the contractors offered to haul it away and grind it at their own site. But it was prohibitively expensive, much more expensive to us than this particular thing. I think there's a couple people who are using the mulch or the chips or what have you, and I'd like to talk to them before we move away from our site. But there are some things there that are actually encroaching on what was the recycling area that we have to address. You know, we've been forced out of the lower section, and even with our dumpsters and what have you. So this needs some discussion. Some limits have to be set. But we do need the participation of the highway department to move this around and to consolidate the brush pile and some things like that. I mean, they also load the heavy metal for us into the dumpsters. So there's got to be a cooperation here.
Great. Anything else on that? All right, so that'll be a goal for January. Okay, I think that's it for highway. Building inspector. This year,
Sarah,
Yes?
Sarah, what about her discussion of people taking the salt from
Oh.
the,
right,
right? I think we should address that.
we got a email today from Heather saying that it is actually technically illegal for people to come and take sand and salt.
Because the town is not allowed to gift items.
Correct, okay, right.
But it's a practice that has gone on for a long time, I gather. That people were permitted to do that. But apparently there's more of it than there used to be.
Sarah, could not the town gift sand if it wished? Just the highway department cannot.
No.
gift
The town cannot make gifts, right, Warren?
Right.
Is that considered a gift that somebody comes and gets a bucket full of salt or
Well,
sand.
I guess it's considered a service. I mean, if it's something we budget for and provide, allow citizens to take salt, and then there's nothing wrong with that, even though they don't pay for it.
A service rather than a gift, right?
Yeah,
Well, that was my thought, was they do pay for it in their taxes.
yeah. As long as it's limited to, citizens, taxpayers.
I don't have any problem with it. I think I'm fine with it.
And I can't see how it's abused unless somebody's moving in there with a pickup truck and loading
Yeah,
it
that,
up.
right.
I mean, it always was limited to 2 5-gallon buckets
Yeah.
per storm. And I
Yeah.
think that's very, very realistic.
That's fine with me. It has a safety issue to it. There's a safety aspect.
Warren, she did address the Association of Towns, I believe, and they came back with an opinion. And the opinion basically said that we can't gift anything. So it's a matter of a service, like you say, rather than a gift.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yep.
She uses the phrase
Thank you.
highway materials or town property. And certainly sand might be a highway material, but if the town were to own sand, I don't know if we'd call it our property per se. But I feel like she might be talking about the financial component of it on her budget line.
Yeah, I don't know how she phrased the question or how they responded. I could take a look at it if I could see what the inquiry was.
Yeah,
And
we should.
the Association of Towns doesn't always understand exactly what the
That's
issue
very
is, and they
true.
give a conservative opinion. But there are ways of dealing with that. I mean, we just have to put some restrictions on it.
I think that would be well worthwhile, because I do think, again, it's a nice service.
I
Great.
mean, in the village of Rhinebeck, they come and pick up the leaves from people's property, and they're not charged for that. It's part of the their taxes. So I don't have any problem, but it does have to be monitored and regulated.
Okay.
Should it be advertised so everyone knows and not just the people who know the right people know?
Well,
It's a very Pine Plains thing.
then we may be getting ourselves into a little pickle there in terms of how much. I think we should just continue what we've been doing for years and keep it low keyed. And if it turns out that it's being abused, we can revisit the issue. I mean, what was her concern? That people were taking advantage of it? Is that?
I don't really understand the concern. I don't know what has gone wrong that brought this up.
No.
I think it might be a budget issue, and maybe it's a prelude to her argument for getting rid of mulching and stuff in people's lawns somehow, is my suspicion.
And it seemed that there was some language that it had grown. There were more people coming than it had in the past.
Yeah.
But if people talk to one another, then more people might come. So
There always was a sign up there limiting people to 2 buckets. I mean, that's as long as I can remember, since we've had that salt shed, that's always been a sort of a policy that was even written down with a sign that indicated how much you could take. And it was limited to per storm. So I can't understand why, since we haven't really had any storms this year, it should have been an issue that came up. Everybody's frozen.
That's you. You're frozen.
You're frozen.
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so we'll leave it alone.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
leave it alone, and we'll figure out how to.
And Warren, you can look at the
Yeah, send it on. I'll take a look
Yeah,
at it, but
yeah.
I don't see any reason to get excited about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just want to make sure I have this down. Sand and salt. Okay. On to code enforcement. 71 permits this year. And 2 new homes to date. 5 certificates of occupancy were issued. There were 6 certificate of occupancy searches, and 17 site inspections performed. And this month, or the month of November, sorry, 4 building permits were issued. So we're way ahead of last year, which was at 49, we're at 71. Police department. As you may know, court has been shut down again. And they're doing a lot of things remotely. Dave does not love remote work. He's just gone back to our COVID way of working. And everything's, gone very well here when they did open up. So there were 18 court hours, 250 patrol hours, 10 administrative hours, 16 investigation hours, 9.5 training hours, details, 10 details, 10 vehicle or other stops, 16 complaints, 4 fire EMS calls, 1 accident, 52 traffic warnings, and 47 tickets issued, 2 arrests made. And John says, Officer in charge Hughes and Officer Camburn provided court security. Officer Hughes attended the Dutchess County Chiefs meeting in November. He also attended 2 Lexipol webinars with me. Sergeant Lawson and Officer Camburn provided security for the food locker. Officer in charge Hughes and Officer Parada provided traffic control for the Veterans Parade. Officer in charge Hughes, Officers Camburn, Beliveau, and Parada provided traffic control for the Parade of Lights. We did get kind of a nice compliment from our prosecutor, Carrie Yamashita, who just said that she thought that the town was so well run and that the police presence actually had a big effect on crime, which was great. But that was her way of seeing it. So I thought
She also does a very good job
she's terrific.
for us, yes.
Yeah, that
She's
was,
good.
thank you for that, Warren. That was, that's a gift. All right. Water. Ray, do you want to do this?
Sure, yeah. Really of note, the major item associated with the water department is the unfortunate failure of the well pump number 2. The electric motor had failed on that particular well. So a new electric motor and pump and wire and drop pipe have been ordered. If all goes well, it's anticipated that it'll be in early next week. There was about a 2-week lead time on the pump and motor, and once it arrives, then we'll schedule to get it installed. So we hope to get that completed next week. As I noted in my report, the last time that pump was replaced was approximately 17 years ago. So it's served the town well. Although it was only the motor that had gone, traditionally what'll take place, again, since it's been in for 17 years, the bearings in the what's known as the wet end portion of the pump usually wear. So I ordered a pump as well as motor. And looking back into the notes of the water department, last time the pump was installed, which was again back in 2003, the drop pipe, which is the pipe leading from the pump up into the pump room, that was not replaced. So I've requested that be replaced now as well. Again, because that means that piping, which is galvanized piping, has probably been in that well for at least 25, if not 30 years. So it is time to get that replaced as well. The only other tricky part regarding that will be the well is actually located inside the building. And the only way to access that is through a hatch through the roof. So we'll have to get a crane in to actually remove the old pump and drop pipe and install the new pump. And that's the way it was done last time as well.
Okay. Wow.
And again, I'm sorry, the other more important item, again, for the public as well as the board. So we do have, obviously, there are two wells that serve the water system. So there is redundancy built into the system. So again, while pump number 2 is down, we have not lost any water, no pressure losses, anything like that. We simply just been running with pump number 1.
Great. All right. And it looks like your office was repainted.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, Bobby was kind enough to repaint our office. That was again, that was the first time it was repainted since it was installed, since the pump house was built. Excuse me, back in, I think it was 92, 93 maybe. So that was a nice change.
Great.
We appreciate Bobby's efforts as far as that's concerned.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions for Ray? We received quite late from Mike Cooper for recreation. I would like to, I think we have to table this until January. I had been pushing to get this into a place where we could have a serious discussion about it, but since it arrived quite late today, I just don't think we can. I was trying to get it in before the reorg. Do you want me to read it out loud or?
Well, no, it's just, we're trying to restructure how the Recreation Committee is put into place and how that's going to work. And we have some changes that we want to make, and it needs everyone to look at before we go forward. And when we discuss it, there'll be a full discussion of what the parameters are.
I was wondering if we should have, since we're doing, well, the workshop meeting in January is going to be about the sewer feasibility study. And I don't think that we should handle anything else on that night, because I think that's going to be maybe a long conversation. But we could, if that timing doesn't work for that conversation, which I haven't nailed down yet, it's conceivable we could have a recreation workshop meeting in January.
Well, it's just that we need time to digest the materials that were submitted. I'm not sure that we're going to have any major problems, or there's going to be all that much that we need to do, because we have talked about it informally. We're not ready to act on it. And it would be nice to have Matt present for that as well, since he's been involved in that with Mike Cooper.
Yeah, great. All right, good. I'll put it into the regular meeting then. Okay. Okay, thank you. There's nothing from the CAC and dog control. Office patrol meeting and training hours were 10, and 1 call was received and 1 complaint investigated. 2 missing and found dogs were reported and 2 dogs were seized. 1 notice to comply and a citation issued. Okay, on to old business. We did receive, and I sent you these quite a while ago, the asbestos reports. So we now have in our hands what we need in order to put out a bid on taking the 2 houses down. If you would, and I just want to remind everybody that the reason we did the asbestos survey was to understand what it would take for somebody to come in and take the houses down. Bidders needed that information before they could do an accurate bid. Any thoughts on this? Questions?
Well, so
One of
now,
them was low asbestos, right? Oh, sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Rory.
I was just commenting that it seemed like maybe there won't be as much mitigation needed. I'm not sure which of the properties it is, but
No, it looked like the worst one was 8 North Main.
Yeah.
But 12 North Main was pretty free of it.
great.
Yeah, very limited.
Yeah. So,
And even even with 8 North Main, with all the linoleum that was in that building, surprisingly, that came back negative. So that's actually, that was positive. You know,
yeah,
so-
that's great. So what do you want to do now? Should we put the bid out should we create a RFP for this?
I would
Definitely.
think that's the next step.
Okay. I'll get on that. I've been working with the county on putting out these bid requests, and I can actually ask her for a lot more help than I have, just because Warren wrote the last RFP, and but she's terrific. So okay. Unless there's any other old business you want to discuss, I'm on to new business. We had a long discussion about planners on Monday at the workshop meeting. And I'd like to make a motion that we hire BFJ Planning for our planner for our zoning review.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I think that's a great choice. They seem competent and are well familiar with the town after having done some previous work for us. I think they're a good choice.
And they had a very specific time frame to get the process completed in a timely way that I thought was very useful to us.
I really like that part of it. And I like the fact that they know us so well that the new work will come off the old work they did.
And they also were eager to continue the work with us, which I also liked very much.
It was very nice. Yeah. Don, we can't hear you. You have to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, was the money included in the budget for this, or do we have
No,
to
we're
move
going to
money?
have, this is going to be from fund balance. Did you hear me?
Okay.
All right. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we need to do a roll call on that? Do you think?
Yeah, well, we don't, I just quickly looked at the contract. So I guess the resolution really should be a resolution to authorize you to sign the contract as soon as I've reviewed it and added anything that needs to be added to it. But it looked okay in the brief time I had to review it. Yeah, let's do a roll call. Yeah.
Supervisor Cloud,
Aye.
Councilman Bartles,
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Jones.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm so excited to get onto the zoning review. It's kind of like the the deep work we're doing in zoning. We're doing this deep work on police policy and police reform and deep work on the broadband. It's been an extraordinary, 8 months, really has. I'm very appreciative of all the help and all the enthusiasm for good discussion here. It's just been a real revelation. Okay, I just wanted to tell us all that we got a Safe Workplace Award from Comp Alliance, which comes in the form of a nice check.
Well,
I like money.
Oh, how much?
We got $4,647 back,
Wow.
which is really significant for us since that bill is huge. So that was because it's well run and nobody got hurt. So I'm really thrilled with that. And I also want to make sure you know that we got our mortgage tax check. And sit down because it was over
Could be good. Yeah.
$44,000,
Yeah.
which was the entire budget for mortgage tax was 40 for the year. We got the 6 months mortgage tax was 16,000 plus change. This is 44. So we're $20,000 over our estimated revenue on mortgage tax. So that was, you know, like Christmas early. Next on the list is the records resolution. This is, I think you all have a copy of this from Judy. Be it resolved by the town board of Town of Pine Plains that retention and disposition schedule for New York local government records issued pursuant to Article 57A of the Arts and Cultural Affairs Law and containing legal minimum retention periods for local governments is hereby adopted for use in legally disposing of valueless records listed therein. Further resolved that in accordance with Article 57A, only those records will be disposed of that are described in retention and disposition schedule for New York local government records after they have met the minimum retention periods described therein. And only those records will be disposed of that do not have sufficient administrative, fiscal, legal, or historical value to merit retention beyond established legal minimum periods. Crank up the shredder. Can I have a motion to pass that?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you, Judy.
Do you want a roll call on that?
You don't need a roll call.
Okay.
All right. How should we handle the next piece of work we need to do is to consider accept the resignation of Jane Waters on the planning board. And we again had a discussion on Monday about what to do to replace her. We have one person to bring up who has been an alternate since 2011, which we had planned to do. And then we received a letter of interest from another person who is willing to be an alternate. And Michael Stabile is happy with both these choices. Did everybody get all that in their email today?
Yes.
Any questions? All right, I'd like to put forth then that we should put this to a vote, right, Warren?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we accept Peter Salerno as.
Shall we accept Jane's resignation?
All right, accept Jane Waters' resignation on the planning board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then I'd like to make a motion to accept Peter Salerno as her replacement.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I would like to make a motion to accept Ethan DiMaria as an alternate.
Second.
Planning board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
And Peter would be for the unexpired term of Jane's term.
correct.
Yes, which is a 1-year term.
Yeah.
She has one more year.
Okay.
And Ethan will take his place as an alternate.
And that's a 1-year appointment.
Right. Ethan, just in case people don't know him, he's pretty well known around here as one of our EMTs and volunteer for a lot of things and lives in town and all around detail oriented guy, very interested in this in the planning board. So I think it's a really good way to bring younger people up. The alternate is a really great system. So thank you very much for that. Does anybody have anything else?
I just have a question. There was a video that was on our town Facebook, and I was just wondering who was responsible for that? A video for Pine Plains. It was a drone pictures and some music, and I just didn't know.
That is the business association slash. Yeah, that's the business association.
Because at the end it said the town board, and that it shouldn't have said the town board.
Oh, I didn't even see that. All right.
So I didn't think it had anything to do with the town board because I had not seen it.
Nope, it is created by the business association.
Okay.
All right.
Just a quick question. What happened with the parade of lights with them quitting so early? I know some people, to avoid the congestion in town, came back at after 6 and it was gone.
Yeah.
Even though it was advertised to being open till 7. Has anybody heard anything of why that happened?
Not a word.
Not a word.
Okay.
I know that the PTA had another lovely event where they drove through town with Santa. And I think a lot of kids really appreciated that as well.
Went to Seymour Smith, and all the lights were arranged at Seymour Smith. It was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, it was cute. All right. If nobody has anything further, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
Everybody.
Happy
Keep
holidays.
safe and well.
Bye.
Oh, I hope that
And thank you. And
2021 is
thank you for
better.
those who sent cookies. Sarah, thank you very much for the cookies.
Oh, you're more than welcome. You'll
They
have to go to
signed-
town hall.
They're too good. They're
Maybe
too
they're
good.
all gone already.
It made signing the vouchers so much easier.
All right, see you guys.
All right.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Bye,